This presentation is titled The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, an Exploration, a poem made by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. This presentation analyzes Samuel Taylor Coleridge's Rime of the Ancient Mariner through its literary devices and its overarching themes, establishing connections to Timothy Finley's novel The Wars. Here we would find common themes like guilt and silence and common imagery that can be found in both novels that help depict this picture. The summary of the poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, is about an old mariner who stops a man at his wedding to tell him and warn him about a haunting story from his youth. The mariner and his crew were sailing when the mariner killed an albatross, a bird considered to be a good omen. His action brings a curse, his crew members die, and he is punished by the earth. His redemption is to tell others about his story and to not let others commit the same act that he did. Literary lenses. There are two literary lenses that we can find in this poem. The moral philosophical lens and the archetypical lens. The moral philosophical lens is about the mariner's journey and it shows their moral actions have spiritual consequences. The archetypical lens is about how the mariner follows the hero's journey of adventure and downfall, realization, and rebirth. Literary devices. There are three main literary devices in this poem, although there are others. We have symbolism, like objects like the albatross out of the sea, holding deeper meanings to the story. We have imagery, a vivid description of the sea, death, weather, and the supernatural events that occur. Repetition and rhyme, the rhythmic structure that adds emphasis on the mood. A good example is Alone, Alone, All Alone, where it talks about the mariner alone on his journey. Symbolism. We have the albatross and we have the sea. The albatross is a symbol of nature and innocence, but when it's killed, it becomes guilt and it becomes a burden. It is literally worn on his neck. The albatross represents the lasting weight of guilt and failure. The sea represents the emotional turmoil and the unknown, the things that the ancient mariner goes throughout his journey. More symbolism that we can find in this poem is the glittering eye of the mariner. It represents the obsession and the trauma the mariner has experienced, he views it all with his eye. It shows how trauma can linger. The animals like sea snakes, the birds, and the other creatures symbolize the sacredness of life and how respecting them brings healing and redemption. Natural weather and elements, the sun, storms, and the calmness, the fog, it all shows how nature helps and nature punishes. The imagery and the mood. The poem describes the glowing sea creatures, the endless oceans, and the silent death. These are all things that the mariner has to go through. It creates a sad and scary mood. It is also similar to Timothy Finley's novel The Wars, where we are dark, painful, mud, smoke, and silence. Both authors use images to show how pain and confusion can affect our main characters. There are many themes in this novel. One of them is the theme of guilt. In The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, the mariner is overwhelmed by guilt and must confess to find relief. He has to tell others and warn others about his story. In The Wars, Robert is haunted by guilt over his sister Rowena's death and his actions that he took in the war. They both carry their burdens quietly, and both are permanently changed by their encounters. theme of isolation is another theme that we can find in the rhyme of the ancient mariner. The mariner is physically and spiritually isolated after all of his crew members die and pass on. In the wars, Robert is also emotionally disconnected, even among his few fellow soldiers that are kind to him. The isolation adds to his suffering and deepens the personal impact of the trauma that they experience. Alone, alone, all alone, alone on a wide, wide sea. It shows how alone these characters were. The theme of nature's power. This is another strong theme that we can find in both of the works. The rhyme of the ancient mariner. Nature punishes the mariner through storms and still seas and the supernatural elements that occur. In the wars, nature dominates the war and the landscape through mud, fire, floods, and chaos. Both of the works show how nature is much more powerful than human and it can't be controlled. A quote is like water, water everywhere, nor a drop any to, nor any drop to drink, as the water is full of salt, as so nature is punishing the mariner for his crimes. The theme of redemption and storytelling. In the rhyme of the ancient mariner, the mariner's punishment is to retell his tale, hoping to teach others and to warn others not to commit rash actions. In the wars, Robert's story is pieced together by others, still trying to understand it. The storytelling becomes a way to cope with guilt and uncover deep truths about themselves. In the rhyme, I pass like night from land to land. I have strange power of speech. It shows how he thinks about himself. In the wars, Robert's story is not told in full, isn't told in full. It's pieced together by scraps, showing how others use his story to build themselves up. The theme of journey and uncertainty. In the rhyme of the ancient mariner, the sea voyage becomes a metaphor for the spiritual discovery and the journey that the mariner has to go through. It takes him through an emotional change. In the wars, Robert's journey is unpredictable and it's emotionally damaging. Both characters have to leave home with one expectation, but face multiple unexpected sufferings that they did not predict. The ship was cheered, the harbor cleared, merrily did we drop. It shows how his crew all died, even though they were not planning to initially. The theme of silence is a very strong theme that we can find in both of the works. In the rhyme of the ancient mariner, after the crew dies, silence surrounds the mariner. It is eerie and it's full of regret, as he was the one who caused it, but only he is the one who can experience it. In the wars, Robert rarely speaks. Silence becomes his way of hiding his pain, even though it makes it worse on the inside for him. Silence reflects both emotional and the inability to express grief. The supporting quotes are, I never a saint took pity, my soul in agony, showing how God or his saintly being punished him for his crime. And the last theme, the theme of death. In the rhyme of the ancient mariner, death is constant. His crew dies, the ghost ships appear, and spirits haunt him. In the war obviously brings constant death. The soldiers, the horses, the civilians, even his family die. Both texts show how death leaves lasting psychological effects. The fire was so hot it turned the night red, showing how something so beautiful could be turned into death. My personal reflection, how I see this poem is the reason why I chose this poem is because of its dramatic supernatural elements and its emotional storytelling and the lyrical writing that made it stand out. The mariner's experience felt universal and in the themes of guilt in its themes of guilt and growth. I learned from this personally is that how both texts explore trauma and change people. The storytelling is a way to heal and a sense of emotional pain. Thank you for watching my presentation. These are my citations.